how's everyone doing? Welcome to episode 6 of the Couch Card Podcast. My name is Alex. I hope everyone's having a great start to their week. I'm joined here with my 3 other co-hosts, Mir, Nick, and Don. Fellas, go ahead and introduce yourselves.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Couch Crunch Podcast, and let's get into it.
Hey, it's Don. I hope everyone's doing well today. Let's get into these topics.
Yeah, how's it going, guys? Hoping everybody's doing all well.
Alrighty. All right, fellas, let's start things off. So I want to start things off with a quick little thing about some games that are coming out that I feel like we didn't go over lately, but they kind of bring an interesting question. So we got Avatar Frontiers and Hogwarts Legacy, 2 really big games that are hyped, but they're movie-based games. So I just want to get everyone's opinion on, like, how do we feel about movie-based games nowadays? Like, do we feel like they're good for advertising, or they just cash grabs, or do you think they're going to be like solid games?
Don, you want to kind of touch base on that first? I'll follow up with you.
Oh yeah, sure. So I was noticing like it's an ongoing trend of like movies and games coming out parallel to each other. So it kind of seemed like it's like an advertising marketing kind of trick to. Like, for instance, Matrix, they recently released a game along with their the movie. So it kind of comes off like Matrix they're using it as like an advertising, marketing kind of scheme or whatever. So I found it interesting that, also with Avatar, I heard that like the sequel's about to come out pretty soon, and, this game coming out for the PS5, it seems like they're using it as a marketing tactic to really get more attention on Avatar. So that's why I had the question of like, is there movie studios using games as advertisement? Is it? I don't know what you guys think about that.
I have an interesting idea on that. Like, as long as the game is like polished well and like, it actually works on a technical level, I have no problem with it. Because I know back in the days, like, there was like games that were like literal like cash grabs, like the Amazing Spider-Man game, and like, those games are like literal cash grabs. But yeah, I feel like as long as they implement it right, as long as they take care of it, they should be good. Mir, what do you think?
So I didn't hear about this Avatar game.
Oh, you haven't?
Nah, I haven't heard about it.
It looks gorgeous. I'll give it that.
I probably got to check it out. So I agree, but then I disagree. So Don, I see the correlation. Like, I get it. Like, cash grabs, movies, for marketing. This has been a thing for forever now. But the thing is that, like, I'm not really the biggest movie fan, so I don't know exactly which movies and which games are trying to like create that like marketing thing. I mean, I know that you brought up Hogwarts, the Harry Potter one, but I don't think there's any movie or anything based upon that. I mean, this game has been announced for a couple years now, and there's, as far as we know, like, Harry Potter's done with.
Is it? Wait, no, didn't they just release that whole like Return to Hogwarts thing?
I thought that was like an anniversary kind of thing.
Oh, that wasn't a movie? Like, I'm stupid. I thought it was a movie. Well,
so like, I don't think that for the most part that the whole marketing for video games is a thing now, especially based off of the games that's coming out. Because I know we said Avatar, Hogwarts, and there was another one.
The Matrix.
Was the other one Matrix?
Yeah.
But even in that, right? Like, the Matrix Revolution, that was a demo, right? So like, that game is just in production at the moment. So it's like, yeah, they use it to market it, but like, was that really a market for it though? Because it was only a tech demo. Like, it was only a very small thing. So I mean, yeah, I agree with you. Like, I feel like there's a time and a place to do it. But I don't know. I don't feel like that in the event of these games, that I don't think that they're trying to like market these games based off of like them presenting a new movie.
Even like another example is like the Miles Morales, the Spider-Man series. I feel like that's going like parallel with the Spider-Verse, the animated series for the movie.
Oh, the Across the Spider-Verse?
Yeah, but they came out at different times though.
Yeah,
like,
that's true. The Miles Morales game did already come out. That's a good point.
Yeah, that didn't come out when the original Miles Morales came out. That was in like 2018 or something like that. Miles Morales didn't even exist at this point. But again, like trying to make the correlation that like because there's a new Into the Spider-Verse that has it's not marketed towards the new Spider-Man that's coming out because that game is still in production.
Right.
I mean, I'm sorry, development. That's not coming out until like 2 years from now. So those aren't really on the same like.
I thought the movie was supposed to come out this year. The new Spider-Verse.
Yeah,
the movie is, but the game is not set to release. I think the game's not set to release this year.
Oh yeah, but I'm saying like you seeing how like they advertising it at this moment though, because they've advertised the Miles Morales game.
That's true. They don't necessarily have to release at the same time. It could just be like a marketing thing to like keep people thinking about it.
But I get what you're saying, but that it's not the same thing because it's like Into the Spider-Verse has well, yes, it's about Miles Morales and like his journey progressing. We're talking about Insomniac Spider-Man now, right? Like that has nothing to do with that. So that's why I'm saying, like, I get it, like Spider-Man movie, Spider-Man game, the correlation. But like I said, that game, Spider-Man 2 is still in development. Like only thing we've seen from this game was the announcement. That's it. We haven't seen anything else from it. So I think it's kind of a stretch to say that like, because we're getting a movie, it's kind of marketing for the game.
I mean, honestly, no, go ahead, Don.
Oh, I was about to give the example of the first one because then both of those two come out at the same time around the first Miles Morales game and the first Spider-Verse. Like they both came out.
No, the Miles Morales game came out much later.
Yeah.
So the Into the Spider-Verse came out in 2018 and Miles Morales came out in 2020.
So Don, what I think you're getting at is that like Into the Spider-Verse and I believe Spider-Man came out the same year, the one with Peter Parker. But again, they have no connection to each other. Like that just happened to happen. Yeah. Like I don't think when Spider-Man came out, it was marketing in Miles Morales, the movie. They didn't have anything to do with each other. Yeah. They just happened to come out.
You see how like I believe like the first Spider-Man game, right? They had Miles Morales in it though, right? Like he was in the second part of the game.
He was in it, but he had a cameo, but like he wasn't. Was he a big part of it? I don't know. I didn't finish that game.
No. Yeah, he was in there for sure, but like I said, there was no marketing of it though. Like that's the topic at hand, right? We're talking about do these movies and these games market each other and do they set each other off? That wasn't the case. That's like, yeah, Miles was in the original Spider-Man game. But again, like if you played that game at that time, I don't believe there was any marketing for the movie or anything like that going on. It was its own thing. Yeah, and like I said,
the way I see it is if the game is polished, the game runs well, the game plays well, I don't even care if it is meant to market. Like, it's not necessarily a bad thing if the game is good, you know?
Well, yeah, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying that's like a marketing thing that I'm seeing trending now that companies are starting to do, like with Avatar.
I mean, I don't necessarily think the marketing is the new trend. I definitely think movie-based games are the new trend. That's an interesting thing, too. Like, it's really like a lot of people are taking their movie IPs and making video games out of it because you got, like, the Fast and the Furious games that came out recently. You got...
Yeah, but that's the thing, though. I don't think any of this is new. That's what I'm saying. Like, a lot of this stuff is old. Yeah. Like, and to be honest with you, like, I don't have any list offhand, but like, we can go down a list of like games that either came from like the big screen on like from movies or like even television series. Like, if you take like video games from TV shows, like a lot of these didn't age well or they weren't really executed well either. Right, like a lot of them, they kind of suck.
Right, like whatchamacallit.
Like, and the thing that I think about the most is like, I remember when I was younger and I had GameCube, I got the Teen Titans video game based off of the cartoon. The game was absolute shit. I thought it was absolute shit.
What?
It was fun. Don't get me wrong. It was fun, but like the game did not age well at all. Like, it's a very shitty game.
That game to this day.
But mind you, I'm just using that as an example. Like, there's many more. Like, even if you take the Batman games on like the Sega Genesis that came from like the Batman movies and shit like that, a lot of those games suck. Like, I'm not sure if you guys ever played the Matrix on PS2.
I was gonna say, I mean, that's that's fire. Like,
No, but that's what I'm saying. Like, some were good, but for the most part, a lot of times you get, like you said, like they don't really.
Like the amazing,
they're pretty
like the Amazing Spider-Man, where that game was garbage.
Yeah, that was absolute
dog
dog shit.
That game was one of the crappiest like movie-based games I've ever played.
I didn't play this one, but even the Wolverine, right, based off of the movie that came out, I heard that was pretty shit.
No, it was actually pretty good.
So, like,
the X-Men Origins.
I don't know, like, yeah. I mean, even if we take Iron Man. Remember, Iron Man came out on the PS2. Like, there's a lot of movie adaptation video games that don't really do. Didn't really do that.
But I'm not saying it's a new thing. I'm saying, like, more or less, is it like advertising for like the movies?
Yeah, I was gonna say it's coming to trend a lot more often.
Yeah, I got you. I mean, I haven't seen it, but I mean, I'm not surprised if it is on the rise.
Well, we'll see. We'll see how these games turn out. I mean, I'm looking forward to them. Well, one of them, because I don't really care for Avatar, but I'm looking forward to the Harry Potter one.
that
one. I'm not even a Harry Potter fan, and I'm gonna play the crap.
Yeah, the Harry Potter one is definitely gonna be like. Yeah. I think it's gonna be great.
I agree. Like that, I think that was gonna be real fire.
And I believe it is a rumor that it's supposed to be a new Harry Potter movie. That's why I put it in there, because they're supposed to be in the development of a new Harry Potter movie. So
yeah, I'm not entirely sure.
I mean, that wouldn't really make sense. But even if it is, it'll probably be like a reboot or something, like with an all new cast.
I don't think they're gonna reboot the Harry Potter franchise.
I mean, what are they going to get the original cast? Like,
no, I think they'll probably make one of those like
I don't think it's time to leave
those sequels. That's like 20 years later kind of things.
Well, yeah, essentially, like you would call it I mean, it's not a quote unquote reboot, but like at this point, if you're gonna get all new cast members and everything, and like rebuild the narrative of Harry Potter, it's kind of a reboot kind of. But I mean, I think they should just leave it alone.
I agree. I don't think they should. It's over. Let's let it die.
I agree.
I mean, I wouldn't say let it die out, but like just re-release the movies in like a different like re-release them in HD or something like that. You know what I mean?
Harry Potter. I'm sorry, I'm gonna cut you off, but like Harry Potter is too important for popular culture to like tamper with.
Yeah,
those movies are classic.
If they don't do it right, it's not gonna come out. It's gonna be horrible. Like they're gonna ruin that franchise. Yeah,
that's not something you want to mess with. Leave Harry Potter.
Yeah, right.
That's the same thing I think about Star Wars.
Well,
that's another
one. Speaking of things coming back and like reboots and whatnot, I don't know if everyone here is aware, but G4 actually made a revival and it's back. I don't know if it's on TV now, but like it has its own YouTube channel, it has its own program and all that. How do we feel about G4 as a whole?
I'll go first. I like the fact that they brought it back. Just reliving childhood of G4, just kind of, because basically what it was is just kind of pushing out whatever games that were coming on to, that's coming onto the, whatever platform that's going to be coming out. So it was kind of cool to see some trailers. I'm excited to see them come back. But it's interesting to kind of see what they're going to kind of put on there that's not already publicized to YouTube or other media outlets. So, I'm interested to see like how is the show going to perform as it used to be like when it first came out. You know what I mean?
Right.
So,
right, because like now it's like more like just a channel. Like is it like still a show?
Right.
Like I that's what I'm curious about, because like I actually didn't know until recently that it came back, and like
Yeah, it's still a show. It's just it moved online now. It's more of an internet thing. They're trying to compete with like IGN, like that kind of.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I know you guys, but I'm definitely gonna check out G4 a lot more often. I know they have a little bit of controversy going on right now, but like, I mean, at its core, it's a show about about games. So like, I might tune in. I'm gonna still tune in. So,
right.
Mir, how do you feel about G4?
So crazy thing is, I didn't really grow up on G4.
What?
I was always like, I always got information from GameSpot or IGN. Those were like my two outlets. I'm not actually.
You never watched G4? Hold on, wait. I'm just saying it real quick. I need to put out a PSA real quick. G4, if you're listening to this podcast, if anyone can get this podcast out to G4, please bring back Code Monkeys. Just do it. I don't care how. I don't care when. Just tell me you're doing it, and I'll be happy.
Bring back all the animated series that you guys have. Not all of them, but I mean, like I'm fine with a few. You know,
like Code Monkeys. Yeah, bring back Code Monkeys.
Listen, I have no idea what any of that is, but the thing about it, I mean, based off of what you guys are saying, it seems like some type of like entertainment show. I'm assuming they had like. Okay,
so let me fill Mir in real quick, and anybody like who's listening that never actually knew what G4 was. G4 was an entire broadcasting channel, like Cartoon Network or Disney Channel, whatever, but solely based on video games. They had all their like original lineups and stuff, and like they would actually do like game reviews on TV. They would do like, they would do like game announcements and stuff like that. They had their own shows like Attack of the Show, Code Monkeys. They had, I think Cops actually ran on G4 for a little while. But yeah, now they're but they got shut down. I don't remember why, but they canceled the entire channel back in like
2008.
I want to say like the late 2000s. Yeah, the late 2000s before the 2010s. I think I could be wrong, but now they're obviously they're back on like on YouTube and Twitch and whatnot.
So it's sorry, I don't mean to cut you off. It essentially sounds like an entertainment show, right? That you would watch when you come home. I got you. So I mean, the thing about it, the real question is like, is it even relevant anymore? Like outside of fans that want that like nostalgic feel, what is the point of like, what is it truly going to offer anymore nowadays, right? Like IGN is probably like one of the biggest outsources for like video game news. Like, yeah, but they're all hipsters. And then we're talking about like you mentioned that it was on television, right? Mm-hmm. So now it's on YouTube and Twitch and stuff like that. I mean, it might get more exposure that way, but my biggest concern is like, is it actually like who's actually going to care anymore outside of like those fans that used to watch for back in the day? Like,
that's for the future to hold. We're gonna find out.
That's why I was saying. I said like it might be hard for them to compete because mind you, G4 was kind of around the time where YouTube wasn't as popular to kind of look up things like that. Now you can do this anywhere, so it's going to be hard for them to I'm curious to see how they're going to actually keep up with how things are running today. You know what I mean?
I think they stand a good chance.
Because like for me, for example, as a viewer, right? Like if I have all these different platforms to watch, first of all, like I'm not watching any video game reviews that often anyway. So like if G4 was like, if one of their biggest things was like video game reviews, I'm probably not going to check it out anyway, because like there's so many different ways you can access video games nowadays. Reviews are like just spoilered, or like, I don't know, like reviews are fine, but like if you're still checking for reviews for a game, it's like,
I still watch video game reviews to this day. What are you talking about? You watch, but I'm saying like the point of a review is to like, to see whether or not you want to buy the game. It's for like a consumer on the fence.
But that's not the case for everybody. Like for example, I have little to any knowledge about Pokemon, but I know I want this new Pokemon game based off what I've seen. I don't need the review for the game. I know that I'm going to enjoy it.
Yeah, but you're not every consumer, is what I'm saying.
But that's why that's exactly why I just said like it's for specific people. But that's what I'm saying, like. again, like I don't know, like how, like you said, time will tell. We'll see how well they do, but you know, I mean, I don't know how many people are really going to be tuning into it. Like I said, based off of like, because if they're going to offer the same thing as IGN, then what's the revival for, right? Like,
yeah, I mean, but like, IGN
now.
sucks for starters.
I mean, yeah, but like I don't like when I go to IGN, I can care less about like the actual person reviewing the game.
That's what I was about to say.
I just want to see the score. So like, I just go to the score, and then go somewhere else. Right? I'll go to GameSpot, and if they give it the same score, I'll go to Metacritic. And if all these different sources are coming up with the same thing, then it's like, all right, this game might actually be pretty bad.
If you look on their YouTube latest statistics, especially since this controversy that's been going on. Lately,
they have almost half a million subscribers so far, so they're
backlash is kind of
for
hitting them. So
a revival,
and even
thing
before
coming out,
their ratings wasn't really that well.
Like a few months
for
ago,
like a major company like G4.
If you're in the 90s, baby.
Yeah, I mean, remember,
the fact that they are.
Yeah, I guess, I don't know. We'll see.
I mean, you already said they went out of business in the first place, right? That's a red flag. Like, imagine owning a business and then you being put out or bankrupt or whatever the case may be, and then you're trying to reinvent yourself to get back into the game.
Right, but you got to
remember, it's
not that they're just going to cancel for no reason. I don't actually know why they actually shut down, but you could be right. Like I said, it could be that they weren't as popular. They couldn't. I think this is more of like a time will tell kind of thing where like I'm optimistic because like I said, I'm basing it off nostalgia, but like I said, I want my Code Monkeys.
Yeah, and that's why I think a lot of people are like excited for it based off of that. But like I think the biggest thing that's helpful to them though is the YouTube and Twitch. That's definitely going to help them get that exposure that they need. Because, you know, we're gamers viewing content if it ain't on YouTube or Twitch, right? Like, those are... Where else are you watching gaming stuff?
Mixer.
I think it was really unique, though, like, for its time. Like, it had its own channel. Like, I mean, back then, mind you, cable was a big thing, you know, back in the early 2000s. Yeah. So it was interesting.
Exactly.
Mind
that's
you,
a big
like, we didn't really have
cable.
too much YouTube or internet and stuff like that. So watching cable was, like, you know, great at the time. TV was everything back in the day.
It's like imagine Toonami coming back.
Toonami never left.
It's like, well, it's not as popular anymore anyway. Like, imagine if it was still like on top of the world at this moment, right? Like, there's so many different ways you have access to those shows. It's like,
goodness,
you really need Toonami? Like,
yeah, we need Toonami. Why give me Toonami? Mm-hmm. Why give me Inuyasha? Give me. What else is on Toonami?
That's all on Funimation. It's all on Funimation now.
Yeah,
bro.
I was gonna say we have a lot of
Funimation now.
So it's like it's all on. Listen, whether you agree about Funimation or the feelings about it, it's still accessible there. So it's like,
yeah, I guess.
So it's like
I still want my. I want Tom back. Give me the Tom the Robot from Toonami.
No,
yeah, I'm about to say he was no legend.
It's all about evolution and the fact that, you know, cable isn't as relevant.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I feel like cable as a whole is just dying out.
But that kind of shows a lot of our age. So
yeah, I think with this thing with G4 though, I think it's saying it's all built off of nostalgia, and like a lot of people from that generation has grown up now, so. You know, a lot of these people watching YouTube and Twitch is majority like teenagers and like, you know, not people who grew up with G4. So it's gonna be hard for them to compete with something like IG and.
Yeah.
This is the generation of This is the generation of Roblox and Minecraft.
And don't forget Fortnite.
Like that's all. Well, Fortnite too. Yeah, like that's all that matters.
Gaming in the future is gonna be really interesting.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh, speaking of, so this is a great little segue to the next topic. Speaking of the future of gaming, apparently NFTs are coming into video games with Troy Baker apparently trying to sell his.
So I don't know too much about NFTs, but the basics of it is basically like stock.
In the
like
radio.
if you're into stocks,
I'm gonna start off real quick by saying I barely have any idea what an NFT
it's basically
is.
Like
Don, I believe you're the expert on this, so
yeah. So
why don't you lead us off on this?
Image, right? And then you put money towards it, and somebody can like buy it, and it's basically like flipping with that picture or that image or object that's online.
Keep that crap out of my games.
So yeah, basically. So with this gaming thing, it's like people like, for instance, GhostCon. Are you guys familiar with that game with Ubisoft?
So it's like, let me get this straight. It's like investing stocks in emojis.
They recently released like skins for their game, but they attached it to an NFT. So they're trying to sell the NFT along with the skin for the guns and the armor on the game. So when you buy into it,
Ghost Recon?
It's you get part of that profit if it makes money. If the stock goes up on it, but if you don't, you're just losing money.
Yeah.
So,
I think this is absolutely stupid.
I agree.
Yeah,
I
don't get it.
It's like crypto.
Why is that in video game? Like I'm not like, it's not like I'm like completely dumping on NFTs. That's how you want to make your money. Go ahead, because like I know there's a lot of money to be made in the whole cryptocurrency world, but like, why does it have to be in a video game?
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's like Bitcoin or something like that. Yeah. Oh boy. I am not all for that. I don't want any of that in video games. That's unnecessary in my opinion.
Yeah, it's like, to me, like if I buy a cosmetic in a video game, that's I don't value it that much to where it's like, all right, what else can I potentially get out of this? It's like, no, I'm buying a skin because that's all it is.
Right.
I'm not thinking about any future.
Also, Sega's also trying to get into NFTs as well by selling,
right. I don't want to invest in the stock of a blue skin for my shotgun.
Yeah, I don't get it.
I just want my shotgun to be blue. You know what I mean? They're doing too much.
I mean, listen, don't get me wrong. Like,
my boy. Look how they massacred my boy.
Bro, listen, if that's the field you're in, like if you're into like Bitcoin and stocks and all that stuff like that, and you know what you're doing to where you could potentially make a lot of money out of it.
Yeah, good on you. But
I also see it as a way of gambling too, because it's like
gaming, but
at the same time you could be losing money if you're just believing in this product within the game and you don't even make anything.
Then all right, cool.
That product doesn't go anywhere if people are not buying into it.
But like the average person probably don't really care about any of that.
I also see it as a way of gambling. Like, it really ain't something
oh yeah.
the money if you're just believing in this product within the game and you don't even make anything, that probably doesn't hit like
it's like saying it's like saying like, next month Fortnite is going to release a Goku skin. Let's bid on it and see how rare it becomes, because if it becomes super rare, we can resell it and get an investment off of it. It's like, no, bro, like I don't care about it that much to really want to spend time on it like that. Like,
yeah, like that's although at the end of it all, it's unnecessary. You know what I mean? Like if you're gonna do it, sure, I guess, but I'm not doing it.
I mean,
Yeah, no hate to like people who
Yeah,
like
if you want it, sure. Just we don't
Right,
want
to
it.
each his own. I mean, hey, if you're good at investing, and I mean, hey,
But at the same time, like
Oh yeah.
Yeah, as well say that.
Also wanted to touch on, the idea of Troy Baker.
So-
He's like a big person in,
just keep
voice
in
acting
mind
wise
that
and
we're
gaming.
outsiders,
He's
so
trying
we
to use his
don't
voice
know
as an
too much
AI
about it.
Right,
to
like,
sell to like
we're
these
just a bunch of outsiders looking
game
for it,
companies.
So
Do you think,
too funny.
using an
Falling
AI
on it.
voice instead of, actually going in a booth and voice acting yourself is more of a cheaper way to profit off of your voice in the industry of gaming?
That's weird. That's weird, but I guess if that's his hustle, then sure. I mean, hey, you gotta make money somehow.
yeah,
I
but I'm
guess.
surprised with Troy Baker. It's Troy Baker. Like, come on now.
I mean, I don't know the guy. I'm not too surprised because I don't know. What
Yeah,
he's
but
like.
I mean, the guy's been in.
I agree that he's in
yeah,
every
like
game.
he's been in every game that you can probably play from the early 2000s. Like, come on
Last
now.
of Us. He was
Early 2000s.
He was also
He's
in
literally everything.
Uncharted.
Just think of a game.
Voice acting for a lot of things. BioShock Infinite.
Pretty sure he's gonna be the next.
Couple
He's
titles.
gonna make the voice in Pokemon.
So
Mm-hmm.
So that's interesting.
Oh, Bioshock 19. Why are you not Bioshock 2? Anyway, Mir, I got a fun little story for you since we're going to jump off into a different quick point. I don't know if you guys know this, but the Xbox One has officially ended production. So, technically speaking, the Xbox One is officially dead. Mir, how do you feel about that?
Shit, there's so many great memories there. I mean, the Xbox One was good for what it was. I mean, it had a rough start, of course, with the whole entertainment idea. Like, it was supposed to be like this fucking half crazy gaming machine, but it was also supposed to be this media chick kind of thing. I mean, I think for when it came out back in 2013, like I said, it was good for what it is. I do think that it's about time now because I think, what is it, 2022 now? So next year it'll be about 10 years for it. So wait, are we just talking about the Xbox One, the OG, or are we talking about the Xbox One X too?
Not the... Yep, the Xbox One S as well.
Okay, so the Xbox.
So basically,
the original Xbox
like
One
the whole line
Xbox...
of the Xbox One. So from the Xbox One all the way to the Xbox One S.
Oh, okay. Oh, so the Xbox. So wait, so does it stop at the One S?
No,
the One X.
No, like the One S is also like no longer in production.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's fine. I think it had a lot of great games that came out for it. I mean, I still think it's very relevant. Like, I don't think there's any crazy jump. Like, you need to do like a crazy jump in order to get the newer Xbox. I think the Xbox One still holds up. The only issue with it is like for people who have the old OG version, obviously you don't have any like 4K or like 1440p, and then your storage is sitting at like probably like 500 gigabytes or so. So, I mean, for like small adjustments like that, it's pretty like, damn, like the fact that they're not producing them anymore. But yeah, I mean, I don't think it'll. I mean, I don't know because like. The Xbox One is like the very first system that I got into Xbox with. So like I don't know how like OG Xbox fans will ever rank it. I know like based off of like a lot of Xbox fans that there's kind of this negative like stereotype with the Xbox One. And that the Xbox 360 will always be like superior. But yeah, I mean, I think it had a good run for what it was.
I think the Xbox One, at least in my opinion, I think it definitely was slightly better than the 360. Like it, because it just built upon everything that made the 360 great and like, you know, just did it a little better. Like especially the controller. The Xbox One controller is the perfect controller in my opinion. Like,
oh yeah, absolutely. See, but the thing about it is that like again, like we go back to the idea of nostalgia, right? Like Xbox 360 was when Xbox was at its height. Like I don't even think now Xbox is like as popular as it was when it comes to like the 360 days. Like
I kind of agree with that. I think PC kind of took over as far as like gaming relevance.
Like, when you guys were playing Halo 3 and stuff like that when that came out, granted I was on PlayStation at the time, but you know, you guys know what that felt like, right? Like to play Gears of War when it first came out, Halo 3, a lot of these phenomenal games. So it's like Xbox as a even with the Halo Infinite coming out, it doesn't have that same kick that it did, what it once did with the 360. So that's why I think a lot of people argue, you know, based off of that feel alone. Yeah. And then, you know, some people might argue that the 360 just looked better. Like it was a white system. That was the last white Xbox. I think there was actually only white Xbox that was. Well, outside of outside of the white 1S or whatever like that. Yeah, but like in terms of like the first original run of the product, the 360 was it was originally white, right?
Right, yeah, but what does the color have to do with anything?
Like when it first came out. I mean, again, it goes back to that feeling. Like people, hey, like this is the first Xbox. This is a white version of it. Xbox, you know, it took them forever to come out with another console.
All right, so we established that Mirror's racist.
But I mean.
That has no correlation.
But to give my input on it, I mean, it's interesting to hear about, and I mean, it's sad and good. I mean, it's sad and also okay to accept the fact that they, you know, stopped making Xbox Ones. But the only reason why I say it's sad because, I mean, so many people are still having difficulties with trying to getting the new Xbox. So, and maybe cannot afford the fact, I mean, they probably won't be able to afford it. You know what I mean? So at least the Xbox One, yes, it's old. Yes, it's not the best of its time, but like I agree with Mira, it definitely was good for its time. And especially it got us through a lot of memorable games that were definitely really fun. So, yeah, I mean,
bro, we can't forget that game gave us Sunset Overdrive.
Right. So,
yeah, where is Sunset Overdrive 2 already?
Bro, that system gave us Rise, Son of Rome. Like these are games that were phenomenal
and still for
out.
its time, it still looks really good. Like,
oh yeah, Rise, Son of Rome.
Yeah, Rise
it still looks really good for its time. Like especially when it came out with it, because I think that was a launch title when that came out with it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, like I said, I think it's sad to see it, you know, discontinued. But I mean, because they're going to kind of focus everyone to kind of try to get the Xbox, you know, Series X, and you know, like I said, I mean, it's kind of hard for people nowadays to do that. So I mean, I guess, you know, it sucks. But as far as on the good side of things, I mean, I think everybody just wants to try to get on the next generation of gaming, and I encourage all that.
Oh,
so
I actually got news on that as well.
All right,
recently.
well,
they're actually
take
to
your
make
glass
up
and
for the
pull one
lack
up for
of
the Xbox
PS5s.
One.
They're actually going to sell more PS4s
Salud.
this year. They're trying to make.
Wait a minute. So the Xbox One is done, but the PS4
That's
is
a
still
good question.
I have
a
no
good
idea.
question.
That is a good question.
Well.
Oh, that's right. So no, it's still the PS4 is still in production.
What's going on here then?
That's dumb.
You know,
like, I mean, it's not dumb, but it's like, bro, like Sony, what's the point of marketing all these PS5 games and then trying to produce more PS4 games? That these PS5 games that you're marketing aren't going to run on it. But I mean, I get it. Like, so for example, like the PS4 still has to be in production, right? Like with games like Horizon Forbidden West, right? That's coming out on the PS4, right? So like that makes sense. But like with Xbox, it's like Xbox doesn't really have it. See, the thing about it, Xbox, is that it kind of combines its entire ecosystem into one. Xbox, they're not really more so on the fact that, oh, this game right here is exclusive to Xbox Series X. No, it's like Xbox, it kind of all goes in one. They don't really market, like when Halo came out, they didn't really, oh, this is a next gen game only. Oh, this is only for the Xbox One X. No, it's for every Xbox fucking system on them. So I think with PlayStation, it's kind of like, you know, we have big releases that's coming out that's still going to be on PS4. So that's why, you know, people aren't going to want to miss out on these games just because they don't have a PS5.
A PS5. I mean, I kind of agree. Like, I don't see the point of getting a PS5 if half these games are still coming out on PS4. Even though you can't really get your hands on a PS5 these days.
That's why I feel like that they're still producing them, because they feel like a lot of people still can't get them, you know?
Exactly. So if they stopped the production on the PS4, then Sony's really going to lose out on money because no one's buying PS5s. So what, you know what I mean? It's like they kind of, and I think about it, they kind of have to keep making PS4s.
Right.
Well, but the thing is though, with the aftermarket, like PS5s aren't as expensive as they were last year. Like last year they were going for like 11, 12, 1300 bucks. Don't get me wrong, they're still very expensive now, but like if you go on StockX or any like third party website, right now they're probably shooting for like 700.
I mean, that's still above market price though.
That's still a lot for some people out there.
It's a lot. Don't get me wrong.
It's not that it's a lot. It's above market price. Why would I pay above market price if, you know what I mean? Like, I
mean, but that's what resell is for.
No,
right?
resell's
like,
to buy it cheaper.
It's about exclusivity. Like no, that's what these reseller markets are for. Like they resell them for twice the price because it's exclusive, right? Like not everybody has access to it. So it's like the price is the thing that I can like be hopeful for is that, you know, when Sony releases more PS5s, that resale price will continue to drop. But I mean, as of right now, it's much more easier to get a PS5 now than
easier, but like I said, I'm still not paying above market price.
Granted, you can't just go on Target or GameStop and just buy the PS5.
That's what I'm saying. But the solution for consumers, I think the solution for consumers is just don't buy it yet.
But that's hard in itself too, because it's like it's going on 2 years and shits are still hard to get.
And
so
3 years, and people just want to get that experience, you know.
But the experience will always be new when you get it. It's not like, you know what I mean. Like I don't care if the game's like, I don't care like the PS6 comes out. If I still buy a PS5 and I never had it, it's still new to me.
Yeah, but that again, that's subjective to everybody, right? Like, not everybody feels that way. Like, if something comes out and it's new, people. I mean, why do you think games sell so much when they first come out? People want them right then and there. I mean, yeah, you can always wait a couple years later or whatever the case may be, but you're like, yeah, you're right. To you as an individual, you're going to get that new feeling, but as a culture, as a gaming movement, it's not. That's not going to be there anymore, right? Like, when a game comes out, like when a game like fucking GTA 6 drops or some shit like that, we as a culture, we all feel that together as a movement, right?
Don't put me in there.
If you're talking about getting it 3 to 4, if you're talking about getting it 3 to 4 to 5 years later, yeah, it's still gonna be new to you, but like it's gonna be past and gone by now.
That's fine.
So but that's all my point is that, you know, people, you know, they want new things. They don't. Because if that was the case, Sony wouldn't be selling shit. Like, nobody would buy the PS5 if they can get it later down the line.
I mean, the PS5s aren't even worth it. And they're not even worth it, in my opinion, anyway. That console's butt ugly.
Like, the PS5's not worth it in terms of buying it all?
Huh?
Like, you're saying the PS5 is not worth buying at all? Like, There's an argument to be made there, but that's for
I was gonna say
time.
we'll tackle that console war in another episode.
Oh yeah, you know, do you guys think like
said,
PC will
me
become
personally, I
like
don't
the
think it's worth it, but like you said,
overall
it's
hub
all
for like
subjective,
every
so.
consoles for like their exclusive games? You know, because we got like
That was just you beat me to it, Don.
God of War as of recently got transferred
Go
onto
ahead. I'll lead you into
PC,
it.
and
Talk about
like
it.
games like Forspoken coming out, it's gonna be on PC as well. And like with the Xbox Pass, they their games are already transferred from the Microsoft PC gaming, and Nintendo as of lately actually put one of their games on. It's gonna release one of their games, Monster Hunter. So, what do you guys think? Is it gonna become an all-around hub for all consoles? Or is the future?
I guess I'll touch base first.
Go ahead, Nick.
Honestly, I don't think that it's going to really replace a lot of the culture as far as the consoles. I think that they're just starting to put some of their content onto there, because PC gaming is kind of coming up on the rise. It's always been an option, but honestly, I don't think it would ever replace consoles, honestly, because consoles have really shifted the gaming culture since the early 90s. Like PC gaming has always been available, but it was never on the console platform. You know what I mean? So I think it's just them sharing their content and giving people more opportunities. Mind you, they don't have the abilities to get these new consoles, or if they don't have the ability to get that, to any of these consoles. I feel like that's good for PC gamers, because if they have a PC, that's capable of running these games, probably not the max settings, but it's still capable to run the game, then that's fine for them, to enjoy it. So I feel like it's kind of like them sharing it, you know what I mean? But honestly, I don't know how it would really replace some of the, how consoles really, came together like that. So.
Well, let me add to that, because I do kind of agree with what you're saying. Like, I think that, like, a lot of the main, console companies, Microsoft and Sony, I feel like they're throwing some of their things. They're like, it's almost like the idea of, like, throwing a little bit of bait in the water to attract the fish. Where, like, they kind of want you to like, they want to, I feel like they're only going to throw, like, a few titles at them, so that way they can be like, oh, yeah, but if you want to play the rest of these exclusives, here's a go buy a PS4 or a PS5, or here's Forza and this game, but you can play the rest of the exclusives on this console or whatever. So I don't necessarily think they're gonna like put all their consoles. I don't think PC is gonna be the hub as much as I think they should, but I don't necessarily think it'll go, just because like people play consoles nowadays for that plug and play kind of lifestyle. So like, you know what I mean? So like that aspect will never go away with people. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing. It's just that, that's just kind of how it is.
It's funny as you said that, because that's actually a good reason. That's a way that they can pull them back into that that platform. So that's a good thing that you just said there. So,
Mia, you got anything you want to add?
Yeah. So, Don, I actually agree. I think that, so the thing about PC is that PC is already technically a hub for all consoles, technically, right? Because you have the emulators, right? At this point, we have access. You guys have access to. I say you guys because I don't have a PC, but like you guys have access to Xbox games, right? And now you have access to Sony games, and like you just said, like you also have Xbox. You also have access to a couple of Nintendo games as well too. So I mean, technically, if you want to be like real, like, just straight to the point with it, I mean, yeah, PC pretty much is the hub for like a lot of console games. The thing is that I don't think PC will ever be the traditional. Well, I can't say that because like Well, when it comes to exclusives, but then again, it's hard to say because with Xbox, most of their exclusives dropped on PC. So I guess at this point, I'm talking for Sony and Nintendo. But like, when exclusives drop, nobody goes to PC for it, right? Like, when Horizon comes out, it's not going to be on PC, right? Like when the new God of War comes out, it's not going to be on PC. So at this point, you don't have a choice but to play it on the preferred platform. The thing about it is that obviously it's about making money. That's all they really care about. Like Xbox having Game Pass or PC Pass, whatever you call it, on PC, it's just an extra way for them to double their money. Right? Like same thing with Sony. Like if Sony truly cared about PC gaming, don't you think that every exclusive they would drop it would come out the original release of it on PlayStation? Like if they really cared about making money up front from PC gaming, all of their first party titles will come out day one. But they don't care about that. That's not their and that's kind of the thing I really respect about Sony as well too, because at that point we're talking about exclusivity, right? Like this is why people want a PS5, right? They want this new God of War that's coming out. If you just drop the shit on PC the same day as it comes out on PS5, now you're talking about competition, right? So like now Sony is don't get me wrong, they would make money just as much, but again, it's like Sony's home platform is a PlayStation, it's not a PC. So it wouldn't really make sense for them to like drop all of their gems on PC, especially day one, because it's like they're gonna run their games to the ground for a couple years until they be like, all right, well, we can get a couple more dollars off of this by re-releasing it on PC. Because it's been a couple games like God of War, what was that other one? Days Gone that came out last year on PC. I think Horizon Zero Dawn came out last year on PC. So like, yeah, that's just an extra way for them to get money.
Yeah, I agree.
But like to your point, yeah, I mean, I don't think that PC will ever become like an all-around hub for first-party games and exclusives. But in gaming in general, I think the more that like Sony will add, because think about it, like PC already has Xbox Game Pass. If they were to get access to something like what the Sony Pass will be doing as well too, at this point they have access to pretty much everything.
Yeah, I agree.
So they're at because like this point now, I mean that goes back to saying like, well, what do are people buying PC because of what, right? Like,
Yeah, because
people are buying PC because they have access to all
I
the
was just about
games,
to just
or are
go
people
off and,
buying
end it
PC
off by
because it's
saying,
cheap? Like, what
because
are
I
you buying
believe,
PC?
like Mary was saying, I believe like PlayStation wants to keep their entitlement to their, AAA games, their exclusive games, so they won't drop it on release day like that.
All right,
They want to always
keep.
keep that brand name of PlayStation. They always want to keep it to their home base. So I can't see them doing that either. And of course, Nintendo, we know how stingy they are with their brands. So yeah, I think like those two. Oh yeah, I was just saying like I believe those two for sure. Like they will always stay exclusive to their own consoles. But it just seems like Sony more or less lately has been straying more towards PC with the Forspoken kind of deal with them releasing that at the same time as PlayStation 5. So.
So, but see, but that's what I wanted to kind of remind everybody, that those are like developers, those are their choices, right? So like Monster Hunter Rise, while it was an exclusive for the Switch, remember that was developed by Capcom. Like we all know Capcom makes games for all platforms. So like Forspoken, I think that's being made by Square Enix. So like it's not necessarily Sony's at that point, right? Like Square Enix is like, we're gonna make the most money we can, so we're putting it on everything.
Right. Okay. All right. Well, why don't we start with our short takes to wrap up this episode? We don't have any like written down. So, Nick, do you have any short takes you want to add?
The recent controversy from G4.
I do want to address one
Frost,
thing. I want to address.
She also
I forgot what was that.
She made a comment about
what was that comment,
Sony not really
that the
living up
host
to
made
the hype
on
of this
G4.
year
Don,
releases,
what was that?
and she was basically like talking smack on how Sony's not going to be able to keep up with the, Xbox or whatever,
Right.
going against like Game Pass.
I have to disagree. Honestly, I just don't. I don't understand what made her want to say that because honestly, I feel like all the titles that they're going to be releasing this year is going to not only compete with Xbox, but it's going to annihilate Xbox. I mean, I'm not trying to like be on one side because I love both of them. I own both of them. But I mean, there's not a lot that Xbox is kind of going for. I mean, they don't have a lot of games really coming out this year. Like, I mean, they do, but it's not comparable to some of the.
We don't know what their
they're not comparable
is.
to some of the the exclusives for PlayStation coming out this year. So I don't know. I just don't understand why would she say that. I did hear that she got a lot of backlash with the Sony fans. And I mean, it's going to happen, especially if you don't really know what you're talking about and you make a comment like that,
About,
so I just wanted to kind of address that because it's kind of like false.
Going off
so
of the last,
that's my short take on that.
So. A little bit. Do you think the vice versa might start happening with like Xbox or like
short takes you want to add?
Well, PS5, they're you're able to put into the internal solid slate drives into it. Do you think it's going to start to become more moddable, these new consoles, as time goes on, and then adapting more, things up from PCs? I feel like they might try to stray towards that kind of direction, going on, seeing how more powerful these consoles are coming.
I think they might.
I mean, that's cool. I like the fact that that you said that because I guess I know what you mean by modifying. Because in a way, you can take the PS5 apart and kind of add like a PC component into it, which is an SSD drive.
The Xbox and the PS5
that's cool that they're actually giving the ability to kind of modify, the new next generation consoles. So I know what you mean by that. Like that's cool.
Them even farther, as far as
Right, because they started putting CPUs that are actually meant to like go into like an actual desktop. Now they're implementing them into the consoles, and I think as they're going to keep moving forward, they're going to keep putting stronger chips in those consoles. So yeah, that's it. It's interesting to keep seeing that.
You know what the interesting thing is though, like. I mean, it was kind of a heartbreak to like PC fans once they found out like fucking these new systems started getting like their hardware in there. But the interesting thing is that, PC is the blueprint for all of this. So like Sony and Microsoft and even Nintendo, they're just taking notes, to be honest with you. Like they're like, as we evolve as consoles, like bro, like at some point in time, they're going to make it to where it's like, all you got to do is just keep upgrading the console. And I'm pretty sure like frame rate is not going to be an issue because the fact that they can go up to 120 frames now, at this point they're going to be peaking 200 frames per second. I agree with
the taking notes.
So the real argument is going to be like, okay, which one
Right.
should I buy now? Like, gaming consoles are essentially PCs. Which one is there? Like, which one is
Right.
going to offer me more? Right? Because like PCs have high frame rate now, but 10 years from now, I mean, you guys will still consider it like in the past, and consoles are still
Right.
behind. But like, once consoles start peaking 300 frames per second,
Yeah,
it's
I agree
over.
with you. And it's funny as you said,
It's
take
over.
notes, because honestly, yeah, they are taking notes, because that's how the consoles are made, from not only the developers that make the graphics cards, because they give ideas to Sony and, you know, at Microsoft and stuff like that, as far as how to keep pushing more graphics into these consoles. You know what I mean? Because that's kind of where it comes from. Like the graphics cards that they make in computers, they use those to make video games, you know? So in a way, they kind of are taking that scenario and then kind of implementing them into the console. So I think that they're always taking notes from people. The developers like NVIDIA or AMD, you know, constantly making new adjustments to, you know, the next generation of graphics, because we have no idea what they got in store for the next 3 years, you know what I mean? Because we don't even know what we're going to be peaking at. Not 4K, not 8K, maybe 12K. I'm not sure. I think that's already a thing. But I think it's just going to keep going further, you know? So.
Interesting. That was that was probably by far the longest short take we ever had. But I'll end it up with a real short take, because I have a simple one. So I just watched The Eternals recently, and to all the critics or the people that like thought that The Eternals was a garbage movie, you're all wrong. The movie was fine. The movie was good. It wasn't great. Don't get me wrong, but it was a good movie.
I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. I seen it yesterday. I agree. I was kind of bored.
You know,
it was cool.
It was good. I wasn't bored at all. I was entertained the whole movie.
The only thing.
I didn't think it was like it wasn't. It obviously wasn't No Way Home, but
it was good. I loved it. I loved
No.
everything about it. The only thing I was kind of confused about was I don't want to be spoiler free, but the end credits, which was kind of.
But you do want to be.
I know, but it's like who plays that character is like. He's never been in acting before, so that's.
What do you mean?
Yeah, he hasn't. Think about it. No, he's a musician. That's it.
I mean, outside of music
yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you. I didn't even recognize the actor.
he's yeah.
Yo,
I
listen,
mean, you might want to look it up.
I think.
Because
Listen, we don't want to spoil
but
anything.
he's a musician, and I'm not saying
like,
not saying like he won't execute the role.
I mean, that's already
fine, but
spoiler
who
enough.
he is, the character he's playing, I don't know. You know what I mean? Because that's a really big role. You know what I mean? Because he's the brother of, you know. So you know what I mean?
Bro, listen, outside of all of that, there was so much hype around this Icarus character, bro.
I just don't get it. He's
and bro, that's my guy,
yeah,
bro. That's Rob Stark.
Yeah. No. I love the
That's
actor.
my guy.
Don't get me wrong, I love
So,
the
like,
actor, but I just hate that they kept comparing him to Superman. Like,
I mean,
no.
basically
He
is.
was nowhere near Superman. No,
Sure
he's
is.
not.
He absolutely is.
No, bro. When I don't remember her name, but the super speed chick,
Makari.
she was giving him the work. She was treating him.
yeah, she was.
It was crazy.
She was.
She was treating
that's the
him.
actor.
Yeah.
That's
And then I was
no,
also
Nick, you're wrong.
disappointed
He's done
because-
acting.
Such.
I mean,
Without giving it away, right?
without giving it away, he did a war movie. Like I think a year or two
Okay, because
ago.
I know he was just a musician for majority of his career.
He started off as a musician, but I think he's now like dipping
This
into
is
the
I was gonna
acting
say
world.
this is definitely would consider his breakout role, because
No.
I mean,
Guys, listen.
I've never seen him.
You guys, listen. Just saying he's just saying he's a musician is already spoiler enough. People are going to go Google.
I mean, if they go Google it, that's their fault, not mine.
I was gonna say. I mean,
we told you to Google it,
bro. Besides that, I also needed more Jon Snow. I'm sorry, that's how I refer him. I know his name's Kit Harington. I know. But like, bro,
man, I actually kind of agree with you though.
I don't, not to spoiler anything, but like we see him at the end. He's going to turn into something different. We know that. But like, bro, I needed more Kit in this. Cause like when we seen the trailers, that's who we seen. He was the first person.
You barely seen him.
Like, and then I also thought Athena's character was kind of whacked out too. Like she was, like I had indifferences.
I thought she was going to be the lead.
So like I said, I think.
To be honest with you,
exactly. Like,
not that that's a bad thing.
I thought the movie was cool. I thought it was cool. I'm glad I didn't see it in the theaters. I'm glad it was on Disney+.
Yeah, I think it's going to do well.
I went to the theaters to go see it, and I was fine with it, man. I thought it was great.
Yeah. All right, well, let's end it there before we can cut into more spoilers. So if you're listening to this and you enjoyed it, give it a like, give it a thumbs up, all that fun stuff. Rate us whatever. Rate us the highest stuff that you can, wherever you can. We'll see you guys on the next episode.
Have a good one, guys.
Peace out.